Rise, I'm going to ask Councilman Sam Bishop if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our agenda tonight shows a public request for a public use permit. I understand that has been withdrawn.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will now move into the regular meeting, and I will call it to order. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have two items appearing. One is council meeting minutes from May 26, 2015, and the proposed water and sewer leak adjustment policy that was handed out, I think, last meeting for your consideration.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussions? Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop.
Aye.
Councilman Hall.
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard.
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Councilman Stipes.
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier.
Aye.
I believe that to be 6-0. Thank you, gentlemen, and Ms. Clerk. Under recognitions, I don't have anything. Do we have anything? We'll move right along. We will now open our citizens' hearing portion of the meeting, and that is where citizens have the opportunity to come and speak to council. Our first citizen on the agenda is Dale Buckner to address council on the proposed gospel singing event downtown. And I believe Ms. Bond is with him, Jamie Bond.
That is correct. That's Jamie. I'm sure you know her. You may not know me. I'm Dale Buckner. I appreciate you first allowing us to take the time to present an event that we would like to have downtown Christiansburg. This came about by a gospel singing that I happen to be a part of. You probably don't know me from that standpoint. Some of you do. But we would like to present some information to you, and Jamie has a handout so you can see what we're talking about.
I'm not used to coming up to people being talked to. Makes me nervous.
Jamie happens to be a part of a committee we formed with two other folks to get this together. And you will see a letter, a map, an envelope, kind of get a gist of what we're looking to do. We would like to have it downtown. We're asking permission, I guess, to close the street off, to have a wholesome family event. Since we are in a town that has a lot of churches, I think it's around 175 in the town of Christiansburg. I think it'd be a great event to have. I'm going to ask Jamie to talk to you about the letter and the plans we have.
We came up with one of the letters just because we wanted to make sure we involved all the churches. And the letter, as you have in hand, just pretty much just kind of says we've got planning stages of what our ideas are, but we didn't want to overstep our boundaries before we got approval on the event. And the map just kind of shows kind of what our ideas are, even with the food trucks that we were talking about having. But there again, when we approach the food trucks, they're very skeptical about committing until approval is granted. So in filling out some of the events policy stuff, it was real hard to do because we really wasn't sure in concrete of what we could get until we get approval. But being in business downtown, that's what we hear continuously, is everybody loves the downtown events and they really want more of them. And so this is a way to have one that's free to the public. It's no alcohol, shouldn't be any trouble. It should just be all positive, and it'll cast a positive light for our town and our community. So we're hoping that you guys will grant us that.
Yep. I understand that you all have met with Charlton McCoy and the police department and
Yes,
Nicole.
we have. Their biggest concern was if we send out 300 letters 175 and then the outskirts of town. If we had 100 people from every church show up, we'd have 30,000 people downtown. I said, that's a good problem to have, we'd have to call for backup. So I don't see that, I would love to see that, and that would show you what kind of response we'd have from our local churches in town, you know, and for the event. So, any questions, you know, you have for us, we'd be glad to.
Well, and
You're-
also, excuse me, if I may, one of the other things that we also checked with, we went to the Presbyterian Church. They had a calendar free for no weddings that evening. You know, being downtown on Saturdays, as you all know, the downtown area is pretty vacant. So pretty much every business closes at 12 or 1 o'clock, us as well. We contacted Tim Height and what's Gary?
Main Street.
Main
Gary
Street,
Hall.
right at Grace, to make
Grace
sure
Hall.
they didn't mind that we used the parking for the event if it were approved. So we've tried to touch base and we've had not one negative, you know, comment from anybody who's in our surrounding area.
So the only business that normally would be open down there at that time of day would be the McAdoo's,
Right,
and what about the coffee shop?
Coffee shop.
right.
And those are about the only two. Have you talked to them or anything?
We haven't because it's kind of, like I said, hard to kind of say this is what we want to do until we get approved. I did speak to the personnel guy at McAdoo's, but since they have their parking in the other, they have, you know, way to get in here. He mentioned to me just to send him an email, that kind of thing. And then once we do get approved, then I'll be more than happy to go to Sue Ling and ask her if it's something that she.
Well, I couldn't imagine they wouldn't
I
benefit.
can't
No, I
either,
couldn't either.
yeah.
Every time there's an event downtown, they all have their best days,
For
so.
25 years and, you know, I don't think anybody would have a problem.
I've got a couple of questions to ask you. And I've known Dale for a while, and I know I was well acquainted with Southern Gold back when it was, the group was together, and still everybody sings, I think, for the most part, but on some individual basis and around, and I've had the pleasure of hearing Mr. Butner sing numerous times in the Abundant Life Fellowship and beyond. And Eddie Richards as well. And Eddie would sing the Lord's Prayer a few times for us. But what I'm wondering about, the talent, I know there's going to be the talent there, there's no doubt of that. Local talent?
Yes, everything will be local talent, except one group, which I happened to be a part of years ago. I was the youngest.
Mhm.
Now I probably look a little bit older with those, I mix in a little bit, but they're from Roanoke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The guys sung around Christiansburg with me all the time.
So you're looking at
They would look familiar.
I still feel like that's pretty local as well. though.
Okay,
That's-
yeah.
And as far as the as a downtown event, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, and I would want to share too, but I imagine an event like this is going to take, I mean, demographically, you're going to have everybody from all levels, I would imagine. And what about seating? Because I'm sure people aren't going to be able to stand for the whole entire.
Yes, we need to add one thing to that letter.
Okay.
If we get approval and send it out, is to bring your own seat, but we are going to bring in about 500 seats to sit. If you see the seating where I have chairs?
Yes.
We'll set them right straight down through the middle there, from that point, around 500. I'm hoping they're full and everybody's standing around, but, you know, that would be our plan right there.
And as far as the food truck rodeo, the first one we did, Mr. Helms, not to put you on the spot, but estimate be around 2,000 people for that, maybe a little bit more.
Estimate a little bit more than that, I think.
And I think that we were starved downtown for something like that.
Right.
And I think that we are as starved for something downtown like this.
I do
We don't
too.
have and granted, there's nothing negative to report about the food truck rodeos. I love them. They were a lot of fun. And it certainly is, a lot of the younger crowd too is there, but not that this is the older crowd.
Right.
But this is something I believe that we haven't done in a while or gotten behind something like this. I can't imagine this wouldn't be every bit as successful, if not more.
Well, everybody, like I said, that I've pitched it to, just throughout the day
Right.
in my business right there, has just been, oh my gosh, you know, that would
Right.
be phenomenal. And one of the reasons in talking about maybe having some of the senior guests that come is why we decided that we may need some chairs. Because
That's what I
the
was-
seniors
right.
and even just that older group of generation don't think about bringing a bag chair with them. So, you know, and if we gotta bring some chairs out, we could do that too. And there's banks and grass in that area, and So that's
Right.
why we want to make sure we had the permission from the churches, and I think they're all on board for it.
And as far as the amount of different groups or singers you're going to have there, you're looking at 4 or 5 different groups?
We were looking at 4 to 5.
About how long for each group?
I was guesstimating 20 to 25 minutes.
So people could be standing theoretically for 2 hours if they didn't have chairs, or
That's
2 hours or
correct.
more. So chairs will be a must. Okay. I think it's a great idea.
Well, we also
Fantastic
kind of
idea.
looked at that event as it's something that you can kind of, with it being free, you can kind of come and go. If someone just
Right.
wants to come and hear a certain group or stay for a couple hours and they feel like, okay, it's, you know, I've had all I can do, then I'm going to go ahead and go. And I think the groups that you were looking into also have some diversity, you know, with
Oh,
men and
yeah.
women in different races, so.
Also, choir too. I have a choir that's scheduled from Radford University that
Well-
they said that they would come.
Well, I think that a lot, I mean, just from growing up in a church locally that only had about 30, 35 members, and I don't know if you're going to get 100 from each church.
Yeah.
But but I'm just saying,
I don't
I-
anticipate that, but if you cut that in half and then a quarter.
That's exactly
It's
right.
still a lot
It's
of
still a
people.
lot
That's
of
a ton
people
of people.
down,
Yeah,
because
it's a
the
lot.
food rodeo had, what, 2,700? And I was there, it was packed. I
Mhm.
mean, everybody, it was packed, people were everywhere, so.
well, this would actually include a further block, though. This is blocking off from Hickok up to
Dunkley.
Dunkley. That's actually blocking that off as well. Do we have that blocked off with the food truck
The
rodeo?
first one, yes, most of that.
Most of that as
we
well?
did.
Most of it.
Okay.
In talking with Charlton and our officers, I don't think we have to block off Dunkley.
Just up to the light.
Yeah, I think that's
Or
Yeah,
right before where the
That's
parking
correct.
is for Burger King.
Yeah.
I think.
that's correct.
kind of right across from Family Dollar, and it still leaves access to anyone wanting to go to Family
That's
Dollar
correct.
off
That's
that
what
street.
that's what they was telling me.
One thing that I would suggest to you, and it's certainly entirely up to you, but if you anticipate these churches having a big response, you might encourage them to, you know, if they have a bus, that they may assemble at the church and come over in a bus, because it's a lot of
That's a good
parking
idea.
places, and
We could do that.
we're parking challenged at times down here. There's plenty of spaces, but that might be something that might cut down on the confusion a little
Right.
bit here and there.
And has there been any conversations with, I think the mayor's absolutely right, has there been any conversations with the courthouse and the public safety building for parking behind there to utilize those spots maybe on
No,
this?
we haven't seen that.
I guess that'd be from the board of supervisors
Those
anyway.
public, I mean, that's.
Public parking on
That's
weekends.
public parking, just
That's right.
like they're welcome to use our lot down here.
Right, I kind of decided maybe to more gear it toward the private parking, that
Mhm.
he had to have permission, which there again, I wasn't exactly sure with behind the Christmas store and that parking where the doctor's lot is
Yeah.
up top there. I really didn't know who to contact on that. Like I said, people are kind of, well, you know, when you get approval, you come back, so.
Well, the good thing too is from 5 to 9, I mean, again, that's
Right,
on a Saturday
exactly.
evening,
And
that's,
Saturday evenings
Right.
downtown.
That's
Christmas store is
Much later than
very-
that, much later than that, you'll hurt somebody when they roll the sidewalks up, so.
And that letter
Very nice.
hinges on approval, of course, and we will add, we can add to that letter, you know, the chairs. I don't think that's on there, but we can add that in there and parking as well.
Did you say you completed the event application?
Yes, it's completed.
Okay, and submitted?
It's submitted.
I haven't seen it yet.
Nicole.
I see it at the end.
You're hoping we might vote on it tonight?
I would love to see that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
And you'll have to forgive me, I'm in another meeting down at the county government building, so I have to leave right after this. So then we'll have to
Yeah,
tell
we
the
would love
result.
to see that.
y'all will change your school starting time? I'm sorry, I'll leave that alone.
Sorry,
Don't make it happen.
we don't have 3 hours to get into that
I'm
thing.
not used to going to talking.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Mayor, if you're looking for a motion, I can always do it,
I'll second.
if we want to do that.
Do we need a motion on this, or?
Wait till the.
Subject to,
We need to add it to the discussion, so.
You want to add it to? Oh, not
we'll
yet.
add it to the discussion, is that your motion? I thought
I'll
that's what
second
we
it.
were saying, adding it to discussion. That will be number 5.
Make it number 1, so she can.
We'll do it as number 1.
Mr. Buckner and Jamie, I've heard about this. I've been on council a few years, but I've heard people talking about, why don't we do something downtown for gospel singing and things like that. So it's nice of y'all to
Excited.
pick that up and bring it down. I'm excited about
I
it.
think it'd be great.
Thank
We've
you.
got a great town, we've
Thank
got a
you.
great community.
We think
Thanks
so.
for your time.
Thank you.
So one of you should stay around for the vote.
I'll be there.
I'm gonna head to the other one.
Okay. Any other citizens' comments? Anyone like to address council? Lisa?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, and staff for allowing myself from the Montgomery County Regional Tourism Office and also Randy Rose is here tonight from the Virginia Tourism Corporation to come back and answer any questions that you may have about the Drive Tourism program that we presented back in April, on April the 14th. This also provides me an opportunity to thank you for the ongoing support of the Regional Tourism Program and a chance to share recent good news out of the State Tourism Office. I'm excited to say that the trend in increasing annual travelers' expenditures in Virginia continues. Based on preliminary data from the U.S. Travel Association, it is projected that traveler spending in Virginia grew to $22.4 billion in 2014. That's a 4.1% increase over 2013. In analyzing available data, it stands to reason that travelers' expenditures in Montgomery County will have also increased, as has been the case over the last 3 years. The future looks bright for 2015. The year-to-date lodging report that's conducted by the Smith Travel Research records metrics such as lodging occupancy tax or lodging occupancy rate, average daily rate, and room revenue. The report released for April 15, just a couple months ago, indicates increases in all of these metrics across Montgomery County over those recorded in 2014 for that same period. Tourism is one of 5 of the state's largest industries. The state Secretary of Commerce and Trade, Maurice Jones, stated that there are more opportunities for prosperity in this strategic sector, with continuing teamwork among state, local, and private sector partners. We will capture to the fullest the benefits of our tremendous tourism assets, which leads me back to the point of coming back tonight. As the director of the Regional Destination Marketing Organization, I wanted to present the Drive Tourism Program for Christiansburg's consideration to participate in this year, late summer or early fall. And so Randy and myself are here tonight to just maybe cover any highlights that you may need to be reminded of for this program and answer any questions. And later in the agenda, we'll actually ask for a vote as to whether Christiansburg would like to participate or not. So I'm not sure if you want to ask questions or hear any of the highlights now, or during the discussion will probably be the time.
I'm good at this point. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
But you all are available for questions if something comes up. Very good. Anyone else to address council? Any other citizens? Hearing none, I will close the citizens' hearing portion. Barry, do we have any staff reports tonight?
Gotcha.
Okay. We're just kicking right down the road. Discussions by mayor and council members. The first item is on the amended agenda is the gospel singing on August the 29th from 5 to 9.
Mr. Mayor, I would respectfully move that we vote on that matter this evening, and I would move that we approve the proposal as presented by Mr. Buckner to allow the gospel singing to commence on the 29th of August from 5:30 to 9.
Second.
Make sure I got that time.
I think it's 5 to 9.
5 to 9, I'm
But
sorry.
anyway, he's counting. That's good. All right. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Only to say that, again, I think this is a fantastic opportunity for us as a town to get behind something which we haven't had for quite some time, and it's something we do all hear about quite a lot.
Hope it's the first of many.
Yes, I agree. And I'm telling you guys, if you like that kind of music, I'm sure you do. I've always been impressed. I always liked to hear Dale. I tried to get him to sing in the garden last time I heard him, and he did a little bit for me. So we have some great local talent.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier?
Aye.
It'll be 6-0. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is a proposed redevelopment timeline for Christiansburg Institute. I think this is in your agenda packet. Didn't know.
How did this come to be on the agenda?
Yeah, that's what I was
They
wondering.
submitted it
background.
Yeah, it was submitted. Matter of fact, I think all of you, I mean, I thought all the council members sent this information. And of course, this is actually prior to any vote on the budget. So they have
Right.
come up with a timeline as to what they are proposing to do.
Well, I've taken a look at it, if you're looking for comments, and it's very similar to what I've heard before. I don't see any specifics. It's really quite long, drawn out. We're talking about a year before we get to anything, even going by this. So I don't think it's made an impact on my feelings toward the budget.
That's sort of what I saw. I saw a lot of verbiage there.
What's the request for? I mean, it's on our agenda,
It's-
proposed redevelopment
But,
timeline. So what's the request for, to reconsider the financing of it?
Well,
One of the past meetings said you wanted to see their plan,
Okay,
so
okay.
they sent it to you.
that's what it is.
So this is for our information.
And I guess what I didn't see in this thing was any type of, they want to break ground and development, construction, and so on and so forth. I see absolutely nothing about funding and grants or anything else as far as that goes, unless I just missed something.
Well, last time I recall discussing construction costs, I think it all made us raise our eyes a little bit and eyebrows because of the astronomical figures. And if they're looking at it, then this is very aggressive as far as if this is followed, if you're beginning construction in April or June of next year. But the question is, what's being constructed? I don't think they're taking on the big projects that we've been talking about. I see weathering, which is important, and then to shore up the building so no further deterioration occurs. But I just remember a 7-figure that was pretty much brought up to us. And obviously, we've been, with our support, that'd be woefully behind. I don't see anything else that notes that, they did mention the anonymous donor. We've never really figured out what that amount is. But I would respectfully, I agree with Mr. Van Hoosier. I think that, I hate to say more of the same, but that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, during our last meeting, I thought we made it clear that we wanted to see something being done to that building, not just here's our money, run with it. And I don't see them showing us anything with that building.
All right.
So do I, I'm sorry.
Make one last comment. I think it's been 6 years probably, Barry, that we've given them $10,000 a year. At least 6 years. And I think, I don't like to make it a point not to speak for other council members. I don't think there's a council member here that wouldn't like to see both the Edgar A. Long building and the Hill School preserved and adaptively reused for our community somehow. But there's been ample opportunity to show progress. And also, Mr. Moore, David Moore, presented to us recently on something very tangible about the Hill School, about a roof. $25,000 would put a new roof on. For $50,000, we could do the roof and the windows. That was tangible. But without saying more, I would like nothing more than to see progress being made. And when we start to see something real, I think that we should take it up again. But I'm not going to support.
So do I get the general consensus, we won't take any action on this part of it?
That's where I'm at.
That's why all right, thank you. Number 3 is council action, proposed annual budget for fiscal year 2015-16. Public hearing was held on May 26, 2015.
Mayor, the sheet that was in the budget, or in the council agenda packet, the listing looks like this. There's one error in it. It's delete recreation part-time. We're requested a part-time to full-time position at recreation, and this says that we're not going to do that, but the way that I remember it and several other people do, that's supposed to stay in there. So if that 14,000 stays in there, then basically the budget will be balanced at 0, and we'll have an excess of 14,000.
So I thought I remember that we decided not to increase to the full-time.
I think we agreed on the budget as presented, which called for those 2 full-time positions, one in engineering and one in recreation.
So I I might be wrong, I thought I remember discussion about the part-time position for recreation, that we looked at the amount we were gonna pay for the additional, basically, it's like, what, 10 hours of work per week, and that 10 hours of work per week over a period of, 52 weeks of the year, or how many ever weeks, that we were looking at the bang for the buck, that was gonna be an extra $14,000 for basically an extra 10 hours of work per week, in addition to benefits, in addition to other costs that we were gonna incur as a town. I thought we had just talked about, if I recall, I think Mr. Stapes and I both had talked about that before.
I did.
In the other room.
Right, I did, particularly with the engineering position, but after delving into that further, I withdrew my hesitation for that, and I don't want to go into further details, but I dug into that.
On the engineering?
On the engineering position, the
Well,
recreation.
yeah, recreation is obvious.
Recreation position, can't, if that was in the budget, my focus was on the engineering position at first, but the recreation position, so Barry, you're saying that the error is that you want to leave the part-time position as well? And
No, it would just change from part-time to full-time.
No additional employees.
So the 14.42 would stay in, which would make our excess over revenue over expenditures, basically, we'd be right around zero.
Yes.
Actually, a little bit in the red,
$185.
$185 in the red,
We'll make, Val will make that up in a heartbeat.
or 250
I'll
in
find
the
it.
red.
And if I recall our public hearing on the budget, there was no one here to comment at the work session. I believe that to be correct.
If that's the way that everyone remember, I mean, I remember it differently, and I'm not saying anyone's wrong or right. I just remember it differently. We had discussed not extending that or going to full-time, but if I'm misremembering that, maybe I am.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little embarrassed, because normally I would remember stuff like that, but I don't remember one way or the other.
I don't know the recreation, yeah, I mean,
Court, I know we discussed it.
Yeah.
Both positions, but I don't think council came to a decision on
I don't think so either.
Well, and I'll be honest with you guys, it's not gonna make me either approve or disapprove the budget of this little item, but I'm just trying to remember, I hate to have something
Yeah.
incorrect in my mind.
right.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
With that being said, I would make a motion that we adopt the budget as presented at the public hearing on May the 26th with the modifications we see here, which were slightly different. And basically what it does is it reduces our excess revenue over expenditure by about $4,000, but we're still $14,000 to the good,
Well,
No, it's,
with the exception of this change that we just noted.
that'll make it
So
zero.
That'd make it just about zero.
That, yeah.
215 million.
All right.
Mhm.
We have a motion.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve the budget. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier?
Aye.
I believe that to be 6-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Another year of a unanimous budget. That shows our finance committee's doing the job. Thank you, gentlemen, for all your hard work. Conditional use permit request by Billy Massey, agent for Starlight Mobile Home MHP LLC, for the expansion of an existing mobile home park with one single-wide mobile home and one single-family residence on Starlight Drive, tax parcel 529-A-41 in the B3 General Business District. This is an item carryover from May 26, 2015, and the public hearing May 12, 2015. It is my understanding that Mr. Massey has requested that we remove the single-wide mobile home from consideration.
He said, please remove my application for a mobile home lot from the special use permit I'm requesting. Please continue with the special use permit to construct a home on the same property. So, yes, he withdrew the condition, or the request for the mobile home, which takes away the playground requirement.
Was there any negotiation, or I don't know the right word, but Can you tell us more about what's happened since the last meeting on
I
this?
called and asked, told him that y'all would like to see a plan for the recreation area, and we wanted to have that built before the house or the mobile home. And he said, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, I'll do something similar to what I have at my other park. And I said, well, can you come and tell him that? And he said, I want to get my house built, just take the trailer out. I said, well, I need something in writing.
So what has he done at the other part?
I haven't been out there. He's got a basketball court and swings, I think, horseshoe pits. I'm not, I haven't, that's what he told me.
Volleyball.
Or
Volleyball.
And gazebo
Okay.
for picnics.
And my understanding is that the home to be built is going to be his.
Yes, yes.
Through Mr. Massey. Okay. Well, he's got a lot about it.
All right.
So the 21st mobile home is not gonna go in any longer, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
I got plenty of them. I got 200 on one.
Okay.
He wants his house built.
Yeah. Do I hear a motion?
Well,
Oh, sorry, Barry.
we had the planning commission's, you know, their recommendation, and of course it'll be, had to adjust the conditions since you withdrew this.
I think the last time it was 9, 1, and 1.
Yes, sir.
And I explained why there was that one negative vote.
The conditions were the expansion of the mobile home park is limited to the addition of one single wide mobile home, so that will be removed. Addition of mobile homes or other residential units require separate conditional use permit. All main structure mobile homes and all street parking areas have a minimum setback of 25 feet from the property line adjoining a residential zone district. That would stay for the main home. Prior to the expansion of the existing mobile home park, by the addition of the 21st single-wide mobile home, the park owner shall provide a multiple purpose developed recreation area of at least 10,000 square feet in area for the use of by the occupants of the mobile home park. So that one would go away. So basically be two conditions. Any additional mobile homes or other residential units require a separate conditional use permit, and all main structures, mobile homes, and all street parking areas shall have a minimum setback of 25 feet from any property line adjoining a residential zone district. So that'd be the two conditions that would be left.
If you're looking for a motion, I will make it.
You have a motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
Without the 21st mobile home?
Yes, sir.
Without the addition, okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second in favor of Mr. Massey's request to build the house but not add the additional mobile home. Any further discussion?
I wrestled with this, and I think that is a material change to the considerations that Planning Commission had. I wasn't at the meetings, but I did read the minutes and read the reservations. Mr. Beasley and I think Alvin Humes had been in here speaking about a nearby citizen. I have no problems with approving the request if there was not a material change to the request. I see this, if there was a recreation area offered, it doesn't seem burdensome to keep that a part of the proposal. I don't think council was looking for anything fancy. Just my comment at the last meeting was it could be something as simple as an oil drum and a 2x4 for a seesaw. I'm sure that's not what you have in mind, Mr. Massey. And I'm glad you're here this evening. And it's, but I will, given the material change to the request and the considerations that's been presented, because I do think that those factored into approving the request, is that there's going to be an enhancement of the mobile home park to go along with the proposed development. So I'm not going to support the motion, but I would be very happy to reconsider if there was just even a modest plan to show what could be out there. So I will not support the motion this evening, but it's mainly because it was a material change to the consideration that was presented to the Planning Commission and to us.
Was that normally something, Mr. Helms, that it's almost like a separability clause of a contract where one portion's rendered to be inappropriate, it can be taken out without the whole thing therefore falling on itself. Is that normally something that is material, or is that constitute like a substantial or material change to what was presented to the planning commission?
This is a substantial change, however, he's reducing the, I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Intensity of
The
development.
intensity, yeah, he's reducing the intensity of use. So I talked with Randy, and we don't feel that we need to, I mean, you could go ahead and act on it with this.
You don't feel like the planning commission would have had any different issues that would have been brought up, or discussion would have been any different at all if
I
it,
think the biggest concern was over the additional mobile
with
home.
additional mobile home park, mobile home itself?
You can refer it back to the planning commission if you like, or you can adopt it without whatever conditions that you see fit.
Who requested the letter to be sent, Mr. Helms?
But when he told me that he
You
just
requested?
pulled a trailer out, I said, I need something in writing.
That's what, yeah.
I can tell you that planning commission was deeply concerned about this 21st mobile home and how it would fit in there properly and the dimensions of it. And that was their main concern.
Okay.
And again, the reason why Mr. Beasley voted against it at that meeting, sir, you were not able to be there, and he thought that he should have been, and that's why he voted against it.
Okay.
And you're the liaison, I mean, for the planning commission from the council, Mr. Hopper, and you feel as if that was the crux or the lodestar of the meeting itself, was
Yes,
that
sir.
it was about that 21st?
And building the house, I think that the planning commission felt very strongly about that, because I think when he was at there, at one of the meetings, he said, hey, I would like to build a house there, and so I can sort of overview what's going on in the trailer park, which I think the planning commission was very pleased with that they, have sort of a hands-on attitude about checking up on
Right.
that. And
It's a beautiful
before-
location up there for our house.
Yeah.
And it's about it's almost acre and a half where the house is gonna be on.
And the planning commission was not fighting that at all. But I can see.
I wasn't here for the meetings, I didn't know there was a meeting at night.
Oh, okay.
Nobody told me.
Uh,
They told me there wouldn't be no more meetings for 2 weeks when I came, so I wasn't, we were there, one of them that we were involved with, so. But as far as the playground, right now, there's probably 3 children in the park,
Is that right?
at the most.
Mhm.
Most of them are singles people. I try to keep it down, it's because we don't have there's not a lot of area around there. And so we try to keep it with smaller families as possible. And that's what I would like to keep if I moved there. So we're going to put a big park up on 114. We're going to move in there and, kind of stay away from 114 and live over here and just get away from the work for the rest of our life, I hope. That's what we plan on, is trying to retire here. We came here 30 years ago. We lived on the other side at Craig Mountain. I told them now we're going to go on the other side and finish our life, I guess, on the other side of the drive-in theater. We was on one side 30 years ago, now we're going to try to go to the other side of it.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
No.
Councilman Van Hoosier?
Aye.
I believe that to be 5-1. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Mr. Massey?
Thank you.
Consideration to participate in the Drive for Tourism program. We had Lisa speak about this, and I believe we've had the speaker here before on the Drive Tourism. We handed out some brochures on it.
I would move that we participate in the Drive Tourism program, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. That'd be in the form of a motion.
That would be the form of motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion by council?
Just appreciate the follow-up. Just told us we would come back, and I appreciate that.
All right, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier?
Aye.
Very good.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
We appreciate
Billy.
it.
Resolution for town crews to work in VDOT right-of-way. Mr. Helms, I think this is an ongoing annual renewal or something, isn't it?
Well, this one will, yes, it'll go on, once we approve it until we rescind it. Anytime we work in VDOT right away, especially out in the county, and there's a couple of places in town, we're supposed to post a bond or have a resolution. And it'd be a real inconvenient to post a bond every time we went out and fixed a water line or whatever. So they suggested we use the resolution, and that's what I recommend.
Are we currently doing that, posting the bond each time? or
We have one bond posted, it's $10,000, and it don't.
Renewable and just kind of,
Yeah, it doesn't cover much.
wow.
So,
Not to be the movement all night tonight, but I would move that we create a resolution for town crews to operate in the VDOT right-of-ways without having to have a bond each and every time.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard? Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Huzer?
Aye.
I believe that to be 6-0. Thank you very much. Council reports. Mr. Hubbard?
The first thing I have a question to ask, a meeting or two ago, we discussed about Mr. Miller, who was working with the Baptist Church, and I thought that you were gonna talk to him or something. Is there an update on that?
yes, sir, I was going to request, he met with us twice since then, the mayor and I, and he'd like to bring his proposal to council on the 23rd of June at 6, a work session. That'd be before the next council meeting. Things are changing daily on him, so
We thought about, weren't we planning on having that work session downtown possibly?
we thought about
We
it.
thought about moving it, but since we're gonna have it on the night of a council meeting, then it would probably be best to meet in the conference room.
And it doesn't have to be that night, but y'all generally
Right down the street.
request to have it the same night as the council meeting, so.
Well, okay. I think that, I can't get too deep into it in our discussion with Mr. Miller this morning, but I think he has an appointment next week that may shed some light on possibly additional support for this thing. So, and you know, there's nothing committed, nothing guaranteed, but there showed an interest. And Mr. Miller is here tonight. We talked about a lot of things, and I don't mean to steal your thunder,
No, you're not.
Mr. Hubbard, or Mr. Helms, but, I mean, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about, you know, other possibilities of financing, you know, as far as a 1-year lease to purchase type deal, and that's not gonna work out.
Well, I would really wonder, and I still wonder to agree what we expect to accomplish in a work session. But let's quit talking about this thing, and let's have a work session and listen to them and move forward.
Sure. June 23rd, is that
26th?
What time?
6 o'clock?
23rd or 26th?
Whatever. 23rd, yeah, that's Tuesday night before council.
Yeah,
She said 6.
okay.
You good, Mike? Thank you. Mr. Hubbard, what else?
Yeah, well, I mentioned this last meeting, and I hate to be redundant, but everybody has a little thing here concerning the Mountain View Music thing that the museum is doing. And I think I mentioned last time that how hard the museum is working, and they're working to try to make this the best thing they've ever done. And I also want to add to this is the town, we have, some of you might not know, we're co-sponsors of this, and we're providing some money for this and from some logistic support. And I think maybe council might want to just come down and you don't have to be there for the whole time, but you have to maybe come down and look around and see if we're getting our money's worth out of this. And they're hoping to have a fairly good crowd, and the weather looks like it's gonna be decent, and I think this is just like we were just talking about the gospel sing in August. This is another thing of the same idea, to bring people here into Christiansburg, and I just wanted to tell you what, I just came from a meeting there right before this, and how hard these people are trying to do to make this successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle?
And we wish them that success. Just to stay on the museum, I've sent some emails out. They've requested money for the interstate sign. Have we heard anything back about whether or not they plan to include
We haven't,
something about Christiansburg, since we're pretty much paying for it?
I've asked Mr. Winfield to prepare some cost estimates as to, and I haven't seen that request for the funding. I know they sent it to you, but
No, I
anyway.
didn't send it to me. I thought we were supplying another $3,000 to them this year for their interstate sign that
Yes.
came off its post.
And I asked her if they'd work with us, she said yes, and I didn't know that they were to the point of,
Being able to fund their portion of it. We don't
But
know.
we have that included in the budget, correct? $18,000? 10 or 15, and plus another 3?
10, 5, and 3, I
Yeah.
think. So Randy, we were looking at signage costs. Do you want to, while Val's looking?
I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just want to mention, can we get something back on what, if they plan to recognize the town, since we are pretty much paying for it, for a rehang of the new sign,
They may not have our approval, but we'd like to have our stamp on it.
before we release
Right.
the funds. That's all I'm asking. And they usually work with us pretty well. I
Yeah.
just don't want us to forget about that and the sign be hung, and we could have got some recognition out there about historic
So
downtown.
you're looking at the smaller blue signs
No,
or the great big?
they have a big brown sign right before going south that fell down
Was it knocked down?
through wind or something. The poles are still up, but they had come to us and asked for us to give an additional 3,000 so they can put a new sign up. And I mentioned that, well, I don't see any problem with us doing that, but if we could get Christiansburg mentioned on there as well. Historic Montgomery Museum located in historic downtown Christiansburg or something.
Was the sign damaged when it blew?
Yeah, it was in half a few,
That metal
about
sign?
a year ago, and then you have to see, it's right before the Floyd exit as you're going south between the two.
Okay.
There's just 2 posts up right now, look like field goals sticking out of the ground.
Randy, what?
The brown type signage that you're talking about is allowed to have 3 lines,
Mhm.
and they can have approximately 19 characters per line. If you have skinnier letters like a road with a lot of eyes, they like to go to 20 or 21 per line. Those signs cost approximately $30,000 to $50,000 to install.
Well, that's to install, but they've already got the poles up, so I have a feeling they're just purchasing a sign, because they're the ones who requested those funds from us.
Just the signs themselves, I think, are probably about $6,000 or $7,000, but
Right.
still you're gonna have to pay a crew to be out and be out right away. Let's say you're still probably looking at over 10,000.
Yeah. So what's the size of the sign? It's $30,000 to $50,000.
Yeah.
To put a sign up, meaning put the post in,
Right.
put the sign up, but the posts are, all I'm saying is before we release those funds, if we could hear back from them and maybe tell council, hey, they're not going to include Christiansburg in it, but they still want your money, or, hey, and they usually work with us really well. I just don't want us to forget about that, because it seems like we've kind of got sidetracked on what goes where, because
I'm kind of thinking if you're looking at adding an attraction or something like that.
I'm just thinking about Montgomery Museum, Lewis Art Center located in downtown Christiansburg. So we get something on there, or historic downtown Christiansburg. Thanks, Steve.
We, if it pleases council, I know it would certainly please me to hand this over to Mr. Wingfield
I'd be
and
happy.
let him work with the museum and try to come back with some concrete
I
stuff.
believe they said they wanted to, but I haven't heard anything back.
Yeah, just be sure they don't spend the money before we have an idea of what we're gonna do.
And I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but yeah, I did hear right, $30,000 to $50,000 for a sign?
For the initial install of one of those
Yeah.
signs.
How big is a sign like that?
They're pretty large. They use basically those steel eye bars. They have to set those with the
Okay.
crane. They have to use an auger to dig the holes for those.
But we have that,
But there are already.
it's in place,
Yeah.
as far as we know.
So we're just looking at pure sign cost. So really, the installation's 4 to 5 times, 6 times more than the sign cost.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So, good.
Not to dwell on, I think we talked about putting our attractions out there like the Aquatic Center, and Randy did a lot of research with, which helped steer our decision on.
So
we're gonna
you-
sideline this thing for a
You don't
while.
mind if we let Randy take that ball and run?
I'm fine with it,
I-
but
After you finish up, get with me tomorrow to tell me what you found out. We'll give you a week or two at least.
last week at the NRV Regional Commission, and you each got your bags and your cups with the new logo, and apparently it's something that's, it's pretty hot, renaming all the planning commissions in the area to the regional commissions. They're gonna start to do it, but I thought they did a really good job renaming ours. A couple things that we discussed the other night was, I think that's something of interest, I'm just gonna let you guys know, is the passenger rail online survey had around 4,100 entries on that. They're still, I think it's still open, and they're looking for like a student population from Radford and Tech, so Kevin's definitely want to pick up the ball there and try to get something out to the students, so hopefully they can participate in it. At least that's what, I think I mean, it's great participation, but they're looking for, will the students use it from Northern Virginia and up north and things like that, so hopefully we can get more response from them on that, but it seems very positive. That's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Snipes.
No report, Mayor.
Mr. Van Hoosier?
No report.
Mr. Hall?
Well, real quickly. Thanks.
Sorry.
Put on any coffee?
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the railings on the bridge.
Are going up.
Oh, man, I've gotten a lot of calls about the railings recently. In fact, I got one at 6:48 this evening in my office as I was trying to run down here. And someone mentioned, can the town just build some wooden ones and put them up there so we can use it? And I said, I don't think that's gonna work. But my understanding, Mr. Helmstead, I know we don't have a timeline, but
They're
the
out there
ones,
installing.
well, the ones that were laying down as of 2 days ago, those did not fit, correct? They were taking those
No.
back?
No, should be the new ones.
They're the new ones.
Those are the new ones.
They were waiting on the final sections, so they put them all up at one time.
So,
All right.
so they're working on them today?
They've been out there working all day today, putting them up, and they've come down to the turn and stuff, and
Great.
it looks like they've got them all out there.
Well, that was a hot topic at the meeting we had early June at the Recreation Commission was that particular issue. But one thing I wanted to mention, guys, I guess really, well, two quick things. The work session that we're looking to have on the 23rd, I'm looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to hearing about that. But one thing I would, and we've already heard a lot about it from before in the council meeting, but one thing I would be very interested to hear is the financial backing or the financial input that the town would be requested of the town. I feel like that we can talk a lot about the vision, but let's be honest, the brass tacks with me up here, I think with some of us is what's it going to cost to us. I think we all agree it'd be great to have something going on, but that would be the kind of the bare bones. What I'm looking at is cost assessments, and I know there was 3 types based on restaurant and the sing, and I like to see that broken down. It would really help me understand it better and be able to have better questions for you. And last but not least, tonight we approved the gospel singing downtown on the 29th of August, if I recall. You've got, with the efforts of the mayor and other members of council, the food truck, not the food truck, the downtown farmers market. You got the food truck rodeos. We now have Mountains of Music, and we're involved with that. I'll be honest with you guys, we've always heard the last couple of years that about doing things downtown. And you got to admit, there's a lot of things being done that are really trying to do things downtown in a positive light. It's not as if it was, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but we've got a lot of good movement there. And I hope that we can continue that momentum. I don't know what the next thing is, but frankly, I'm just glad Mr. Buckner's still in the audience. I hope this is the first of many, like Mr. Stipes mentioned, because we are thirsty, I think, and our town residents are for things down there. Something to do. Very excited because July 4th of this year, my understanding is we're starting downtown, and then we're going to be moving up to the high school. So that's another way to get our downtown involved. And I'll have some more to talk about that at the next meeting. In council on the 23rd. So again, I'm just really pleased that we're trying to incorporate not just our commercial areas that we've really been blown up on in the mall area, but the downtown's not being forgotten. So I applaud the efforts of everybody involved with the town and council on that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Bishop?
Yes, I just want to know, the traffic light at North Franklin and Depot Street, we did a study on that for us advanced left turns.
When VDOT, I was going to answer it, not
Oh,
report.
well, okay.
VDOT, when they first put it in, Mr. Lemley said, he asked for left turn signal, and they said, no, it doesn't warrant it. And he said, well, as soon as the project's over, I'll put it in anyhow. And they said, no, you won't, poles won't hold it up, won't hold the additional signal heads up. So that's where we've been since then. We have had a few requests, but we have to replace the poles, according to VDOT.
So we just had to stand still, or we gonna move forward?
We can study it and put it in the budget for, it'll be several $1,000s, like 150 or so. So we look at it. I've threatened the traffic circle there.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Snipes, I believe, had something he wanted to.
Mr. Bishop first.
Oh, you done?
Oh, you're
done.
finished, okay. I just remembered, want to give an update on the Bikeway Walkway Committee meeting that we had on Friday. The Bikeway Walkway Committee is very happy with the council's decision to add enough money to do something substantive, to take a next step with a new project. And the committee has agreed two projects that are coming up. One of them will not require study, but the town is looking at potentially reconfiguring Roanoke Street from Town Hall out to Depot Street from 4 lanes to 3 lanes, which would be 1 lane in each direction with a 2-way left turn lane in the middle, and be able to provide bike lanes as well. And that would be done after the town replaces a sewer line. Is it water line or sewer line?
Water.
A water line, fiscal year 16-17, so a couple years out, but we're going to be looking at that, but that will not require extra money or study or anything like this. It can be done as part of the repaving of Roanoke Street. And that's one update. But the project that the top priority project that the town is going to undertake this year is a study for what's called the Crab Creek Connector, which will connect potentially, well, not potentially, hopefully connect Roanoke Street to North Franklin Street along the Crab Creek / Railroad / Depot Street corridor. And that would be very exciting, and that would be a shared use path, the same order as the Huckleberry Trail, and it would pretty much be an interstate for bicycles and pedestrians, connecting 2 very important thoroughfares in town, Roanoke Street and North Franklin Street. So that's the top priority this year, and thanks to council, there's enough money to commission a preliminary engineering report for that, which can lead to the serious funding for T projects, T enhancement projects. So that's my update from Bikeway Walkway.
And Mayor, there's one other thing to note. I'm not, but seriously, another sidewalk that's benefiting the town. Christopher High School. This whole last 2 or 3 days, they've been ripping all the sidewalks up there for our students, and they've been putting, those are the large ones out front. And I've been dropping my daughter off behind the wheel this week, and they're putting all new ones in on the front side there, and I guess they're moving around the corners. And there's a large section. I know that's many thousands of dollars.
Right in front of the school on Independence, or is it on Franklin?
This is on Independent. This is on Independent. This is actually the ones where our students are using on the front there. They're
You mean right up against the school?
Right up against the school. And I guess they're moving out. I'm saying it's moving out.
Very good. I was trying to picture them in the street there.
Right, no, yeah, this is really our student population.
Okay, very good.
They needed to be.
Very good. Anything else before I get into my dissertation? Barry, and I don't know whether I'm stepping on your toes as far as what you're going to say, but maybe we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. A reminder that the 5-year anniversary of the Aquatic Center is going to be celebrated on June the 27th of this year at 2 o'clock. Also, the night before, on the 26th, they're having some live entertainment there. And I also believe you can rent an inner tube and you can float out in the big pool and watch a movie. Correct. So I think that's really good. And I hope as much as you can, I hope you will pencil in that time around 2 o'clock. I know that they would like for me to address the the guests there, and they would like to have as many council members as possible present for that short period of time. I think that runs 2 to 5 maybe, but the opening is at, the opening and recognitions, I believe, is at 2 o'clock. Is that correct, Jim?
Yeah, I think so.
What's the date on that again?
It's June
27th.
27th, that's a Saturday. And another note, and I think we've passed a little thing around here, the town picnic is Friday night at the Aquatic Center starting at 5:30. Is that correct? Just as a reminder, I think you've all seen it. And I think that's all I've got, but I do reserve the right to speak again.
I'm gonna wait.
Look what you got. Stock's got it started.
Why do you always look at me?
Town manager reports.
Have one public hearing to set for single-family residents in B3 at 100 Depot Street. I'd like to set that for the 28th of July. That's the only one I have to set tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. I'm sorry, is there any discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Certainly, I don't hear anyone opposed, so we'll go 6-0 on that one.
HR department finished an application for appointment to boards and commissions and committees. We were using the ones that are regular applications for employment, and they really didn't fit too well. So there's a copy at your place, I think, and that's what we'll start using instead of the old application.
And we're going to start using that pretty quick because we're advertising 2 openings on the cemetery committee. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's all I have, sir. I will be out of town the next 3 days.
You're going to Virginia Beach to the managers.
Virginia Local Government Managers Association.
At Virginia Beach.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Toes in the water and everything else that goes with it.
The past 3 years, I haven't even gotten sand on my feet.
All right. If there is nothing else to come,
Right now, there are 4 people on the cemetery committee.
Yeah,
We'd
one
like to
lady
have
asked-
at least 6, yeah.
I think one lady asked not to be reappointed because she'd been transferred or job
Yeah,
moved out of town.
job problems, yeah.
So we're gonna look at up to 2. We have 6, we can have up to 6. We've operated with 5 for quite a while. So we're gonna look at that. Anything else to come before council?
Our work session is gonna be here.
Here.
Okay, it's gonna be here.
On the 26th, that's right before the 22nd, 23rd, right before our, it's 2 weeks from tonight, same time, same station.
I move we adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn? Second. Second, all those in favor, get up.
Hey, Barry. Ask